What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with week 5 of the MPL. This week we have a rematch. Everybody from week 2 that played is playing again week 5. Just the way I decided to make the schedule. We are going up against the Vancouver Victinis again. However, instead of being coached by Zero Cools, they are being coached by Emblem Zero. He is a newcomer. He took over the Vancouver Victinis after Zero became inactive, and I am so glad that we got Zero here because he's going to do big things in this league. I can already tell. So let's get right into the pre-match matchup, whatever you want to call it. So this week I'm bringing Bellyjet Azumarill again. I am running Jolly 220 EVs in speed. That way I can outspeed the Crawdaunt if it was Adamant 252 speed. I probably should have ran Adamant, and you'll see why later in the match. But yeah, that's it. Again, we're bringing the same Hippo Excadrill core. However, this time instead of bringing the Rapid Spin, I brought Substitute on the Excadrill. We're bringing Life Orb, T-Wave, 3 attacks, Thunderous, which is more physical than special, running Superpower and Knockoff and Hidden Power Ice, which means no Stab Thunderbolt or Stab Volt Switch. We are bringing the same exact Sableye, itemless Sableye, to live a knockoff, and it's also the best check to Mega Metacham if he decided to bring it. However, again, he didn't bring it. I also last minute changed out Latios for Blissey. I decided Blissey wouldn't really do a whole lot. Latios is running Subcalm Mind with Surf and Psyshock. I brought the Surf so I could hit his 2 best switch-ins, which would be Landorus and Victini. Or Latios' best switch-ins, I guess. I don't know. Looking at it, on his team, Psyshock isn't going to do anything to it, and I really should have brought the Shadow Ball instead. That way I would have been able to hurt the Jirachi, like, just for more damage. I would have been able to touch the Ferrothorn. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20. I didn't want to get into a Calm Mind war with the Clefable if he decided to bring it. So I brought Psyshock instead. That way I would be able to keep up with the Clefable. Anyway, let's get right into it. He decides to lead off with Landorus as I lead off with the Thunderous. Right here, I do not want to risk him being Scarf, so I'm just going to switch right out into my Hippowdon, get up the sand. As he goes for the Stone Edge, gets a crit, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter at all because it's Hippowdon and it only did 17%. Right there, I switched into the Sableye predicting his Ferrothorn coming out. That's exactly what happens, and I decided to go for a taunt. The taunt goes on the Victini, which is not good because Victini can completely wreck Sableye, especially with the blue flare. I thought he was going to go for like Grass Knot predicting the Hippowdon to come in, but maybe he wasn't running it, or I don't know. So right here, I decide, I don't know why I went into Thunderous. I could have gone straight out into Excadrill, and it would have been able to OHKO this Victini with an Earthquake, and that would have been the best play. However, I don't do that. I come in and go for the knockoff. Not the best. Right here, he shows the Glaciate, and this had me a little bit worried because after this, he would be able to outspeed me, and I don't really have anything to deal with this. That was a big misplay switching in Thunderous. I'm just not realizing that. So right here, I decide to switch right out and go into the Excadrill because it would be able to take a Glaciate the best if he wanted to go for it again. Luckily, he didn't click Blue Flare there, or else the game would have been over that much faster. Excadrill comes in on the Thunder though, so that works out in my favor. I was not playing well at all this match. I don't know what was getting into me. Right here, I go straight for the substitute. Again, not the best play because he still has the Landorus. I go for the Rock Tomb, scouting to see if he was Choice Scarf, and if he was, it would have knocked him into the range where I still outspeed after the Rock Tomb, after the Sand Rush goes away. And I just decide to sack off my Excadrill here, as he goes for the knockoff and doesn't actually take me out. Right here, I should have predicted the Pharaoh coming in because it was rather obvious, so he could get off the Iron Barbs damage to kill me, which is exactly what ends up happening. I get very minimal damage off on the Ferrothorn, and I go straight out into Thundurus again, which, I don't know, I feel like I had other things for the Ferrothorn, but oh well. I just click the superpower and that kills the Victinis straight out, and now I'm sitting at -1 attack and -1 defense. He comes into Crawdaunt. I decide, I don't really need this thing. I'm just going to go for the T-Wave as he goes for the Aqua Jet. Instead, he switches out into Ferrothorn. Good play because that powers up his Gyro Balls. And he can't really do anything. I'm going to die to the Iron Barbs and the Life Orb damage as he gets paralyzed. So he still doesn't show anything from his set. Right here, I decide to go into Latios and just decide, now is the time to start setting up Calm Minds. Looking at it, I think the spread of HP Fire and Thunderbolt, or I don't know, HP Fire would have been better over Psyshock, or Shadow Ball would have been better. Either way, it's not going to end up mattering because Ferrothorn completely walls this thing. But he doesn't know that. I'm just going to start setting up some Calm Minds so I can potentially get off some damage on this. As he goes for another Iron Head, I'm just going to... It's very repetitive right here in the middle of the match. It's not a very exciting game. I made a lot of misplays. My head was not completely in the game. I felt like I really over-prepared, and that's what kind of screwed me over. Like, with the Latios, even, because I didn't bring the HP Fire, I overlooked everything else on his team based on just one threat, and I know not to do that from now on. I know to go for the best coverage against his whole team besides just one move. Right here, I decide, you know what, screw it all, we're going into Azumarill. He goes into Landorus, gets off the Intimidate, and I just set up a Belly Drum. Now, I switched out Leftovers for a Citrus Berry, which is why I'm sitting at 51% rather than 50% to get my Citrus Berry. If I was running the Leftovers, I feel like that, again, would have done a lot more to his team. That way, I don't know. Right here, I click Superpower. I wasn't sure if a Play Rough would kill, and it might have. I'm sure Aqua Jet would not have killed. But I click the Superpower, and that lowers my attack and my defense one stage. And I get my Citrus Berry now because of the Iron Barbs. Not really going to help. And right here, this was the one thing that I had planned for, and he just goes straight for the priority Aqua Jet. So this is why I said I over-prepared. If I just went for Adamant, full bulk, I would have been able to take a whole lot of crap from his team. However, I overprepared, ran unnecessary speed EVs on this thing. So that's the story of the battle. I just go for the play rough. Luckily I don't miss. And right here, I go for the Aqua Jet. He lives on 3%. That was a minimum roll. I calced that. And I had I think a 92% chance to KO, or 93%. And he lives on 3%. So that's unfortunate. And he kills me with an Iron Head. That defense drop mattered. If I didn't have the defense drop, he might have been able to kill me, but with the defense drop, he definitely was able to kill me. And now it just comes down to Hippo trying to even out the differential, because Hippo cannot beat Meloetta one-on-one. Mostly because I only have, or I don't have Toxic on this thing, I have Roar. And I don't have Crunch either. If I had Crunch, it probably would have done more. However, he's just going to go for a Psychic. That does way too much damage. And this game ends up being a very close 1-0 in his favor. And that is our first loss of the season. So, good game, Zero. I will have his link in the description. Unfortunate that we got our first loss in the season, but then again, my expectations going into the season weren't all that high. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.